all right. What's up, guys? It's Tone Center here. Haven't done a video all season. I've been doing shorts for the most part. Might have done one video, but I just come on and say what I gotta say and just dip out. And I've been waiting to say this because I wanted to see more and more of what this team is going to mold into this season. And it appears that we have molded into mesh. We have molded into nothing, nothing solid, no type of structure whatsoever. Um, and with such a mental breakdown, should I say. Mentally, we've been lobotomized. And this was all was due to happen. And I'm not surprised. I said this at the beginning of the season, um, and seeing how we are going to react or play in a number one schedule after going 12-5 3 seasons in a row under Mike McCarthy, which we have not done since. I still find it absurd that we all want to get rid of him because no other coach has done it thus far until him. We can go back to Garrett days where we might go 10-6 or 9-7 or 11-5, and then we go eight. Then we end up going 8-8, and then we win again, and then we go 8-8. And every time we went 8-8 is when we had a number one schedule. So this team has had a history of not being able to handle the pressure of playing top tier teams on a consistent basis. We have always thrived when we ended up second in the NFC East, you know, and it looks like we might end up third, might end up last in the NFC East, and it's okay that we just having a bad season, just had a bad season, and things just have to be revamped, and that's why I'm not so quick to get rid of Mike McCarthy as well. Although I did forewarn Mike McCarthy about being a little more creative on the offense. Because everybody now it's a problem because we got the same squad as last year offensively. Nobody was complaining about how the receivers wasn't getting separation. Then again, yes, they were talking about how the receivers weren't getting any separation last year. But yet it didn't matter because of the fact that CD Lamb was heavily targeted over top everyone. I mean, he had I forgot. I'm not really drawing up the stats, but I'm going to say he had at least 50 more catches and way more targets than anyone else on the team. And I think that we're doing a disservice by talking about Tolbert and whatnot. Like, brother, this is his first year actually being a starter, and I think he gets it. He's under pressure as well. He wants to uh, certify himself as being a premier wide receiver. And I always thought that I said this at the beginning of the season as well that Tolbert and Brooks, um, depending on the wide receiver coach and everything, that eventually they will become like a Donald Driver and uh, I can't even think of the guy's name now, but those guys that Mike McCarthy had, with Donald Driver. What's the white kid name? And I can't even think of his name, and I like him, too. The Michigan State guy, along with Devontae Adams as well. But anyway, neither here nor there. So I'm going to try to say this slow because I have a tendency once I get talking and want to get things off, I just offload and I get tongue tied a little bit, because anyway, because I just do. So I'm going to take my time with this one and just talk about the reason why this was set up to come. And it's not by, I guess you could say, it's not a conspiracy. I'm going to say that. I'm just going to say by natural selection, it was set up to become this way. And you go back a couple of seasons with me, especially when we got Dan Quinn as a defensive coordinator after Mike Nolan, and how they was drafting players, and we struck gold with Dak Prescott because we got him in the fourth round. We struck gold with CD Lamb because he fell to us in our lap when we had Amari Cooper, who was already a number one wide receiver, and Michael Gallup was a bona fide number two. But having the three of them made us a triple threat, along with Dalton Schultz, who was perfect for the offense because he didn't need to shine. He just needed to make consistent catches. But we was looking for more explosion, when we already had three explosive wide receivers, that was already set because CD Lamb is primarily a slot receiver. He's having issues on the outside. And this is what I said about him not being a pure number one. And we can also look at this because of the fact that our owner and slash GM is more of a owner than a GM because of the fact that he doesn't have a pulse on this team. And I'm talking about as far as knowing when to fold and knowing when to hold. Because clearly he gambled. And it didn't matter to me if he did not re-sign Dak Prescott contract or CD Lamb. If you wanted to make a change, make a change. If you was not in favor of it, because I heard someone that's more on the inside say that they think Jerry Jones was not all in on re-signing Dak, or CD maybe. But now let's look at the long game and the chess moves that was made. Is that you did re-sign Dak Prescott, you did re-sign CD Lamb, so therefore it makes it look like Mike McCarthy is out because you have not signed him. So you chose the brand, you chose jersey sales over building a culture. Why? Because you are the culture. You are the ultimate spectacle, man of building the spectacle of entertainment. Because you like to do things big. You like for it to have a circus atmosphere. And that's okay. And you have to hire guys or draft guys that can that are truly dedicated, truly committed, and all in with themselves into the team to be able to block all the existential things that's non-football related, like the tours and everything that's going on off field. And now we seeing what is going on behind the scenes when you're talking about a professional like Zeke missing meetings. And I'm not saying it everybody has missed meetings probably, but on it seems like it's on a consistent basis. And that is just a microcosm of what is really going on behind the scenes with this team. And I'm going back now to the beginning of the season. And I can go back to last season. In my eyes, in my opinion, this is just what I have observed. Just to let y'all know. That let's go back to last season in the first 5 weeks and remember Mike McCarthy was installing the Texas Coast, his hybridized version of West Coast slash Kellen Moore playbook or whatever, because that is what our quarterback was most familiar with, but inserting some of his West Coast principles to run an out offense or whatnot. So, but remember when we lost to the Cardinals? So after that, we went on a gunslinging spree. After that, it's more like he went reverted right back to Kellen Moore's offense because that is what our quarterback was used to playing. More vertical routes, more down the field, more long, more of the comebacks and everything. And not to say that the West Coast or his West Coast style of brand doesn't have those as well. And now we look at this year, and we're seeing the same thing. It's the same offense as last year. It's just that more people are more hip to it now, and more people know that okay, we have some young pups that are now getting the experience at the wide receiver core when we talk about the Brooks, Turpins, Tolberts, and whatnot. And we still have the veteran that we still don't use wisely, Brandon Cooks, who is the best route runner on the team. You know, and then we have a borderline slash diva in CD Lamb right now throwing the fits, and then we can go back to where it all started, or the nail in the coffin was really last season in the playoffs against Green Bay, because we have seen it time and time again in the playoffs, and that was that took the wind out of their sails. And why this is why I'm saying this is because we wanted to hire a head coach that had skins in the game, skins on the wall, however you want to put it. He's been there, done that, and took his team to the promised land with uh, with an offense that has produced or has allowed uh, two Hall of Fame quarterbacks to be totally superior in his offensive scheme. And this is why I posted something on Twitter the other day, is because you his offensive scheme, or it is quarterback friendly, but it is up to the quarterback. It is also up to the quarterback to have just a high IQ in knowing where to go with the ball, knowing where to put the ball. Not a lot of motion. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I posted a clip of James Jones explaining, and Chase Daniels saying how simple it is, but James Jones was explaining how, and they was talking about uh, the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, and Chase Daniels was saying he went right back to Green Bay to the offense that he was running, which was the Mike McCarthy offense. And James Jones said, "Yes, we won a championship with that offense." He broke it down as like Aaron Rodgers is not with all of the motion, because of the fact that he has seen enough as an experienced quarterback to know what the defense is doing, and he knows where he wants to put the ball and know where he wants to place the ball. Okay, so maybe you can blame that on Mike McCarthy and having the understanding that I don't have that type of quarterback. Okay, so I will have to do more of the eye candy and all of the motions and stuff that like the Shanahan tree is doing out of the same type of system that he's running. It's just that his is more simplified, and probably we would say more outdated, because the Shanahan type of offense, it looks exotic and everything, and because it's all about matchups. It's not about having you know the horses, even though he has horses. You know what I'm saying, with Debo and Ayuk and Kittle and also in the backfield with McCaffrey or whatever running back they put back there, is as it seemed as that always have been a theme with the Shanahan offense, right? Is that it's even more explosive when you put the horses out there, right? But when you don't have the horses, the scheme will take over. And we saw that when we played the 49ers, is that they was down most of their horses, and some played and then end up leaving the game like Debo. Okay, and they still found a way to beat us. And so the reason why we saw the implosion, where it all began in the Baltimore Ravens game, playing against Lamar, and you saw Tank and Michael Parsons going at it. This is this is where it really starts to belly up, right? Because we was coming off a high of beating the Browns, but then we felt the low of losing to the Saints, and then we turned around and got pummeled by the Baltimore Ravens. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to think of who we played after that, after Baltimore. Uh, it was Pittsburgh. So it was whichever game that it was that Tom Brady commentated on, and that was his first game of the season, and it was our Cowboys game. And if anybody can go back and listen to that whole game and listen to Tom Brady, and this is probably about second half where the offense tend to stall out or whatnot. And Tom Brady simply said something. It's too many verticals. Too many verticals. That's why we not get and bad enough. And the reason why it was too many verticals is because it wasn't giving Dak Prescott. He was not. He couldn't speed up the clock. You know what I'm saying? His clock, his mental clock, because of the fact that it was too many 5-step drops, and the offensive line wasn't holding up. So pretty basically, Tom Brady was saying shorten the routes in a sense, and insert more crossing patterns. So that was a hint for me. Um, so I was like, okay, so is that's on the coach and as well. I mean, I will say that we can give him that because it's always going to go back to the coach and making the adjustments, right? And also, I still give pause with Dak on the fact that you are a veteran, seasoned vet, 9 years in the game, and you still mechanically just go with the play call of this is what it is, this is where it's supposed to go, or whatnot. So I mean, no, that's why I did the short on. There's no nuance about our quarterback, and I like that, man. And I still have to call it the way I see it from my eyes. I'm not. I'm just an objective fan. So what I'm saying is that there has been a lack of maturity, and this is why it was kind of subliminal. Because when Mike McCarthy was saying we was going through growing pains, he wasn't just talking about the rookies that we have on defense and the offensive line. I think he was talking about the team in general. We're going through growing pains, and the reason why this was all set up is that we have been 12-5 for the past 3 seasons, and yet this team, the person I'm talking about, personnel have not grown up and become the ultimate professionals when you got a lot of veterans on this team. We talked about 9 Pro Bowlers last year, and some of them have been here more than two seasons, which qualifies you as maybe a young vet, but you are a veteran. Some been here a lot more, and we have too many veterans on this team not to know how to uphold the ship. Get what I'm saying? They do not know how to uphold the ship, and that just lets me know on why the implosion is happening is because the lack of accountability amongst themselves, the lack of studying, the lack of practice, the lack of camaraderie, the lack of effort that we're seeing on both sides of the football. and it's an effort thing. It's a pride thing. Is that y'all have tasted, y'all have been right on the cusp of crossing that threshold, but y'all don't have it because y'all don't put in the time. Y'all don't push it. Y'all don't push things to the limit. Individually, maybe, but collectively as a team, no. Because individually, you should be pushing yourself to the limit as well. And also, it should translate as a team as well, where all of y'all are coming together in the off season or at training camp, OTAs, all of that, because of the fact that y'all are hungry. And yet, we have seen for the past 3 seasons, and even going back further. But I'm just going to particularly focus on these last 3 seasons at 12-5. That we stumble our way into the playoffs and then get ousted by the Green Bay Packers, by the 49ers. Is that we start to lose steam when we have a quarter of the season left. Them last few games, I would say from possibly from Thanksgiving on into January. And that's when you see us starting to shake because we're tired. You heard Tank Lawrence say that. We was tired. He said that last year. We talked about how Micah was tired. He tires out during the second half of the season. And then battling. I'm gonna give y'all some kudos because y'all battled those 12-5. That's not easy to come by. But to take that extra step, that extra to raise your levels to a standard, to a championship quality team. Y'all don't have it. Y'all never took the proper steps. And maybe nobody never showed y'all. And I think that's what Mike McCarthy was trying to tell y'all. Was trying to mentally get y'all there on what it takes to get there because he wasn't seeing it. And part of this has to do with Jerry Jones as well. It's because I mean, get your money, bro. You want to get the money, you have the number one franchise. But the quote is one of my favorite quotes is, if you know that there's a change that you need to make the change and you don't, then you're choosing it. And you have chose entertainment over setting a culture. Because if you focus on having a solid culture, the entertainment's still gonna come because it's sports. You want to be you already recognize it's the number one franchise. So the only thing left is to have a coaching staff, a solid coaching staff, and particularly a CEO like a quarterback that can take control, that can take command, because he is the extension of the head coach. And along with the other leaders on the team to uphold that standard, to hold the younger players, hold them accountable, and along with themselves, holding them accountable, but showing the young ones on this is how you do it, and this is the brand and the standard that we are going to set for ourselves, which is a playoff to championship level team that we can compete with the best of them day in and day out because we have not competed with the top tier teams. And we folded like little, you know what I'm saying? We ussies. We ussies. No, as Dak was saying, as they called it on camera, we suck. and he's telling that to his third string quarterback. That's something you keep to yourself, bro. Or say, I'm sucking right now. I agree with James Jones with that. And I know you probably was just having a casual conversation. You know what I'm saying? But now you hurt your hand and you got a hamstring injury. So we need you to sit out. And maybe you need this to sit back and look. To sit back and just watch this and watch how it starts with you and it falls with you as well. And then it's more like, what are you gonna do about it to help fix it? Because yes, if I'm Jerry Jones and I'm the GM and I gamble because of the fact that I'm looking outwards to the future, and it's like financially and when it comes to profit that and where I'm going to go. Like I have a veteran quarterback, he's solid, and we can win with him. We have won 12 games in a row with him for the past 3 years. Why would I think less? Even though if I pay you this money, you're going to have to work with more. You're going to have to work with less. But at least I am going to pay you. I'm going to keep retain our top wide receiver as well, so we can have you two as a tandem. And then we're going to sprinkle in Ferguson and the rest of the wide receivers as they mature and grow. Because the offense is the staple of our team. It has been the one consistent because damn, we were just number one last season with the same offense except the offensive line. Except the offensive line. That's the only thing that's the change. And we knew it was going to be some growing pains there because we had two rookies. But nobody expected, even though I saw it last year with Zach Martin. And Terrence Steele was coming off was 1 year removed from his injury, or was just coming off of that ACL injury. So we expected that. And then this year, he has regressed. And with all of that regression on the right side, I think we should go ahead and make the change with both of them. Put in the young blood, man. Put in the fresh blood. Because I questioned that a couple weeks ago when we played Detroit, and how Aiden Hutchinson was teeing off on Terrence Steele, man, with no help. Or whenever he didn't get help, he needed it, which takes away from Ferguson from getting down the field. And then looking at it with when he was facing Bosa. Oh my God, Bosa! Oh man, he gets off the line so fast. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna tell you what, Bosa looked like if anybody played Tekken and anybody played with the character King, he was a wrestler. And he's probably built like Bosa, six five, 6'6", real stocky but athletic. And if you knew how to play with King on Tekken, you knew that you can hit that side button and he'll like step to the side and pounce on you from the side and like then and suplex you or and stuff like that. He'll do all types of moves and stuff depending on which side you move on, you know. And that's how it was looking to me when we played the 49ers. So this is the reason why things are in disarray. Things are falling apart as we speak. It's the team, the personnel has fallen apart. Think about it like when a team, like let's say the Chiefs, and they was conservative last year, right? They might not even make the playoffs, or they'll barely get in and get blown out, possibly by the Ravens. But they ended up winning because they know how to win in multiple ways. They know how to grind it out, or they can put up numbers on you, right? And then by them going to the championship back to back, and eventually that's going to catch up with you, right? You're going to get tired, more susceptible to injuries because you're playing a longer season. Now, true indeed, although we don't go deep into the playoffs, but we do play. We have played a little extra more games than a lot of other teams between us and Philly. You know what I'm saying? But Philly has that extra gear, and we don't have that extra gear. Simple as that. And that's what I've been seeing, and that's what I've been talking about all this time. And we knew that once Dak Prescott got that first contract, that first big contract that made him the highest paying quarterback in the league, that I said this 2, 3 seasons ago, there was going to be a high turnover um, with this team, and particularly on defense. And we look at what happened last year. And not only that, we lost our defensive coordinator. Matter of fact, we ran him out of town as well. And to me, it's been the personnel the whole time because of the fact that we hear it now that Mike Zimmer's offense is too complicated. Too complicated. And we saw that this past game with the Falcons. Remember when Diggs went out there and it was a 4-over-3 set. One was blitzing, and then they did the wheel route and got that easy ass, that cake ass touchdown because he didn't know where to line up, and we saw that all over the place. We saw that on the offensive line too with that screen run to CeeDee Lamb, where you see Mike McCarthy had enough of seeing this bullshit. This is what we've been practicing. This has been the game plan all week. And he has had enough because he had been saying this because he's been biting the bullet. Because he knows it's all on him as well. It's on him to get these guys right. And at some point in time, like Dion say, what about the players? Because the players got to play the game. And what about and that's why he don't want to head coach grown men that's getting paid a lot of money, and then you still gotta treat them like kids, like they're your sons, when you're supposed to be professional. Now, I'm a truck driver, and I probably say if anybody listen to my any of my videos before, I've been doing this for a few years now, since 2018 or whatnot. But I'm gonna use this as an example. I'm a truck driver. I manage myself. I got to get to places on time. I had to communicate with dispatch. I had to communicate with the shipper or the receiver if I had to. But I also have to road plan. I had to plan things out ahead of time to make sure I get there in enough time to get this load because things are set on an appointment, or I might have a window. But I always plan my shit out ahead of time. Look for alternate routes just in case of a major accident where it shuts down the interstate or whatnot. All of that, and I leave in enough time to give myself room just in case I have a breakdown. Because one of the easiest ways to break down is a flat tire. But that's why you do a pre-trip inspection too, because you need to catch that early. So I'm very self-sufficient out here on this road. And that's why everywhere I go for the last few years, I'll be easily become the number one driver because I'm because I'm a good manager. I'm self-sufficient, fuel efficient, negotiate contracts, and I demand my pay too because I'm worth it because I have skin in the game, baby. You know what I'm saying? I have almost 20 years in this, and really about 20 years, but I've been off and on with the driving. Sometimes I gotta get the hell out of this truck. But right now, but consistently going on 20 years. And I'm just saying, I'm a good road manager. Take care of the truck. Don't have a lot of breakdowns. and very efficient on how to move up the road, man. I get it. With a good driver record, good standard on license, because that's my money maker. So I'm very reliable, is basically what I'm saying. I'm consistent in what I do. Yes, we all are human. I ain't saying I'm 100% perfect all the time, but on average, you can count on me to get it there or to pick it up. One of the two, on time. Because early is on time. And that's why I'm respected in this industry amongst my peers and with the company I work with. At the same time, I know if anything happened because of my mess up, I'm out of here. Because nobody gives a shit about the driver. As long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And that's why I'm an independent contractor. So basically all I'm saying is that at what point in time are they going to take ownership as professional players? And this is why we're having this meltdown right now. It ain't much that the head coach can do. We have already seen two head coaches. We have already seen three offensive coordinators. We have already seen three defensive coordinators that has complicating schemes that they cannot pick up because they don't put the time in to study as a team. Maybe as individuals, Jordan Lewis is the only one that knows where to be. He should be the vocal leader as well. And maybe he is. I don't know. But he's the leader. He's the alpha on the team. Because he gets it. And probably Kendricks because he knows that he's been playing in it since he's been drafted. But when everybody else is playing off key, what do you think is gonna happen? He's gonna look like he's playing off key. Because now everybody's like, fuck it, that's what that hero ball shit come in. Back in week 3 with Baltimore. And it's been hero ball ever since. Guys been making business decisions, missing tackles. And you hear a head coach telling professional players, we got to go back to the basics. That this team does not have the basics. We keep self-inflicting ourselves. Then we could have won that game against the Falcons, but look at all those penalties we got. Look at all those missed blocks. Just all off key. No matter what he called, he can't call nothing because it's the lack thereof amongst the players. And at this point, I'm gonna get off of this. I hope that y'all listen, like, share, subscribe, and listen to and look for my content from time to time. But definitely look for my shorts because there's really not much to say about this season. It would be nice to see them turn it around because right now we're 3-5. We just have to win out. We could be like the Giants and rise from the ashes and go and get hot. But this team mentally has not shown that they're capable of actually having a meltdown and reshaping themselves into the team that they want to be. They need to watch Remember the Titans. That's what the hell they need to watch. But I'm Tone Setter, and I'm out. Peace.